Tokyo's here.
The Beavers were non-believers.
Bobwhites, I think, are the most creative ones here.
Well, at least one of their members is.
As a group.
I think the others are
Okay, whatever.
I would have a hard time.
It looks like everybody's here. You guys ready?
I played my days as Cubmaster, but
We still got a minute or two. We're going to pace things up as they go.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we're ahead.
could be a
I'll
long
wait
one.
for you to tell. Okay.
Looks like we got it timed up perfectly. Down there by the lake?
Use it everywhere. It's important stuff. Oh, here he comes. Last but not least.
My chairs are, I was here and then I left.
Oh, yeah.
Well, this will just roll into the end. Okay, I once heard a youth choir sing to their adult leaders in training the following words. Do you see the potential of every young he and she? I see what I can be if you'll show me how, then stand beside me. Let me try my wings. Is anybody there? Does anybody care? Does anybody see what I see? The youth see that they can be leaders, and it's critical that we learn and practice, become competent at shadow leadership. Our presentation has several parts. We'll have a speaker with some written material. David represents a boy going through the different stages of scouting. The speaker will represent the leader and talk about the different stages that the shadow leadership progresses through. I do, we do, you do. And the rest of us over here represent the other scouts in the Boys Patrol.
All right, so I'm going to invite my friends over here to kind of stand right here. And Brad, I need to borrow you first. So you're going to stand right by him because he is your Tiger Cub, right? Brad is a parent partner of Tiger Cubs, and if you don't know what it is, you need to come find me or other friends because your sons need to be in Tiger Cubs. That's it. How many of you, and please don't raise your hand because I might cry, how many of you think that Cub Scouting is just games and crafts and it's just fun? I said don't raise your hand. My goal is that hopefully if when I'm done in this 4 minutes, that I have totally changed your opinion, and I probably won't, but I hope that it's some food for thought. So we have Brad here, and this is his Tiger Cub. His Tiger Cub has either graduated kindergarten or is 7 years old, okay? So in Tiger Cubs, we have parent partners. They come with us to every den meeting, and Tiger Cubs have, this is the coolest, one leader. They have one den leader, and why is that? Because every boy has a parent with them. So we have like 20 deep leadership. So right here, Brad is going to take him, and he leads him. He guides him, parent, and that's why they call them partners, because it's a partnership, okay? So we're going to take a little here. All right, and we're going to let Brad, guess what? Your little Tiger Cub, he is going to be a wolf. He's going to go to Cub Scouting. So guess what? We're finished. You get to go sit down. Thanks, Brad. All right, so.
Hey, Brad.
Thank you. All right, so now I'm going to pretend like this is our den leader over here. So come and stand over here. And, oh, I forgot to tell you. How many of you knew that Cub Scouting has 3 parts to Cub Scouting? It's Tiger Cubs, Cub Scouts, and Webelos Scouts. And Cub Scouts encompasses wolf cubs and bear cubs. Okay, so we've got a Cub Scout leader here. So he's going to encompass both of those. But if you noticed, our parent, I don't even know where he went because he doesn't have his orange shirt on anymore. There he is. Our parent is now at home. Okay, he doesn't just have to drop the kid off and leave, but he's at home doing another role. He is helping him do his achievements. But when it comes to Cub Scouting, he's not there at every den meeting guiding him and helping him learn the Cub Scouting way. We've now got a den leader, 2 deep leadership. There should be 2 of you, sorry. But 2 deep leadership here who are teaching him the Cub Scouting way with mom and dad at home helping and guiding. Okay, I'm going to let you go.
She just fired it all.
Go, Brian.
Freedom.
All right. Okay, now I'm going to borrow you. Come on over here.
Get myself back.
Yes, you can get yourself back. Okay, so I'm going to read this part to you because I want to get the verbiage correct. This is a transitional program that shifts the emphasis from the home-centered activities of tiger cubs, wolf cubs, bear cubs to group-centered activities. This is preparation for later participation in the greater achievement of Boy Scouting. That is Webelos Scouts. If we don't understand that moms and dads need to get to take even a farther step back, we're preparing these boys when they work on activity badges so that they can learn that when they get to merit badge, they're going to have merit badge counselors. These people they may have never met before. How do they rely on them except for the fact that now mom and dad have taken a step back and they can learn to rely on their leaders one step a little more. Ooh, we're getting close, right? So my biggest thing is, how in the heck do parents know where their role is unless we're sitting down with them at every step teaching them, hey, guess what? Johnny just turned 8 and I'm his wolf leader. And these are my expectations of you. And then as a 9-year-old leader, you come and say, guess what? He just turned 9. And this is my expectation of you. Guess what? As Webelos, when he passes something off, will you have him come let me know and give me a little report and I will pass him off so that those steps start happening so that when he becomes a Boy Scout, mommy and daddy aren't over here hovering. They can oversee, but they're not. Anyway, we'll get there. Hang on. I'm taking somebody else's spot. So thank you, Mr. Webelos leader.
My pleasure.
All right. Okay, Boy Scouts.
The Boy Scout Handbook says that Boy Scouting is a year-round program for 11 to 17-year-olds. Through the Boy Scouting program, young men can achieve Scouting's aims through methods that include the ideals of the Scout Oath, the Scout Law, patrols, outdoor adventures, advancement, association with adults, personal growth, leadership development, and the uniform. We begin to see even more of a transition from parent guidance to guidance from other adult leaders, and then to a lot more of self-leadership. In fact, there's the Scoutmasters Conference. That's one of the ways that we see the Scout leader adults involved more and less of the parents. That's the last requirement a young man has before becoming a Scout, is to meet in a Scoutmasters Conference. Then we continue to see the Scoutmaster provide leadership, and then also to be involved in initialing as the boy finishes requirements and meet with them in a Scoutmasters Conference, and then initialing their service and their camping logs as well. As new Scouts come in as 11-year-olds, we see them still under the direction of a ward primary presidency in the LDS Church, and we see the role of the parents extended just a little bit as dads are invited on the campouts with the boys for 3 times each year. We continue to see the involvement of adult leaders in patrols as they use an assistant scoutmaster in their patrol meetings, and then in the patrol leader council as we see adult leaders and the youth leaders gather together to consider ideas from all of the Scouts and to set vision for them.
Get carried away.
All right, next we have Varsity Scouts. And before I start talking about Varsity Scouts, one thing that we really wanted to point out, you'll notice this is a puzzle. So this goes right along with, you know, how the Bobwhites won the first competition, the puzzle. So that's why you're getting another puzzle today. The other thing that we wanted to bring in is we wanted to bring in the edge, that edge training that we took, and the edge to leadership training. And so we started down here as the foundational pieces. So when we start down here with tiger cubs, and you can see by this diagram here, this is the explaining, where you've got a cub leader with the parents doing a lot of explaining because they don't know a lot. They're young. And then we advance over here to the D in edge, where you have the demonstration, where you have the leader and the parent in the middle, and they're demonstrating what needs to be done and how to run the pack and how to do scouting. But then as we advance up here to, well, Scouts is still demonstrating. There's still a lot of, oh, over here, sorry. So over here we still have, yep, Scouts, and then or
That's
no, Weeblos.
Weeblos.
Sorry, Weeblos. And then as we move over here to Scouts, we're in the guiding. And you'll see here, the Scoutmaster is now starting to step into the shadows. He still has a lot of interaction with the boys, but he's starting to step out into the shadows, and so that's where that shadow training comes in. And you can also see that we're doing a puppet here to go along with that puppet training. That's what we're trying to get away from, is we do not want to do everything to boys. We don't want to tell them how to do things. We don't want to tell them how to run things. We want them to be the leaders. Yes, we can step back and be their guides and do the larger-than-boy life problem solving with them, but we need to give them the activity, or they need to come up with the activity, they need to plan it, and then they need to carry it out. And that's what brings us up here to, when we get up into the varsity, into the venturing, we're now enabling. Now we're completely in the shadows. And the boys have completely taken over all the activities. They plan everything, and they are doing everything with the activities that they are doing. Varsity Scouts was created in 1984, and it was developed to meet the special needs of 14 and 15-year-old boys. And so they will have different activities, and they'll have a program manager that is a boy leader, and then they will have I forget what they're called, advisors. And so that's where the adult leaders are. The adult leaders are over those program managers, and then they will carry out their different activities as they go through advancement, high adventure, personal development, service, and special programs and events.
All right. Well, Scout, hold this for a second. Noticing this one isn't quite set for the big finale. So, but as you can see, we have aggressively given this young man more freedom. In venturing, how is it worded here properly? The ultimate responsibility for the crew relies with the advisor. Our main goal or responsibility are the activities, are the events, are the plans safe? Our scout here pretty much can do anything, but we retain one last bit of control to pull him back when we see things could go heinously wrong. The thing with venturing is that we allow the boys to fail and to be all wound up and tripped. But I know there are some who have the opinion or the thought that the boys should be taught how to succeed. That they shouldn't fail. They should be taught to always make the right choice. I don't remember learning a whole lot from things that I aced. I learned an awful lot when I bombed a test, a midterm, and I studied my butt off for the next 3 months, trying to get ready for the next 6 weeks, getting ready for the final. As an advisor, that's exactly what we are. We're there. We're the tutoring center that you would have at college. We don't really go out looking for people. We wait for them to come to us. And they ask us, what are our problems? You know, here's the situation we have. What do we need to do to make it better? Or what do you think? Is this going to go off without a hitch? Where can you help us? So you can see here, we have the advisor, and there's also an associate advisor. We are entirely outside, we call this at work the circle of trust. We're not in it. It is led by a president and 2 vice presidents. not quite like Washington, D.C., but the president pretty much runs the program. There is a vice president over administration who is a backup for the president. And then the other VP is over the program. And his main responsibility, his job, is to find out, what do these boys want to do? Okay. Sorry, just thinking. So with that, we teach the boys how to use the resources they have at their hands. And with that, provide and perform in a good program.
Okay. Look, Father, I'm a real boy. So, scouting is about growing leaders, boy leaders. It's about giving boys and young men instruction, direction, opportunities, and encouragement to become self-directed and to direct others in productive ways. Now consider the arc of the scouting program itself and how the age-appropriate organizational models provide the experiences and instruction that they need to be able to take on these leadership skills. Tiger Cubs work directly with parents. Cub Scouts interface with parents. Weeblo's 11-year-old Scouts, you know, they gain the first taste of boy leadership as parents withdraw. Boy Scouts are immediately become part of a peer-based organization, the patrol. And the varsities continue that with everything notched up a bit. And last of all, venturing culminates the arc of leadership arc of the scouting organization. Here the adult advisors withdraw mostly. They're just advisors. So indeed, scouting is about growing leaders, productive leaders, effective leaders, boy leaders, but still great leaders.
Well done. Incorporated much of what we've been taught these last 5 days. So, who's the expert at the poster?
Well, we all thought of it. I built it.
You built the poster.
Yeah. And thanks to Gary Stewart, who has the plotter, we were able to plot it out.
So the content and the presentation works.
And one last point is that we wanted to make is if we do not follow this, then we miss the point of scouting, which is at the top of that. Fleur de lis.
We get 16-year-old Cub Scouts if we're not careful.
Amen.